Hi folks, this is a quick video on how I have changed the oil on my E92 320i BMW 3 Series. It's the one with the N43 engine. So I've got the car up, nice and safe. I'm going to be on top of the engine here. I'm going to be taking out the oil filter, which is under that cap there. And underneath the car, I'm going to be opening that little hatch back there. I'll show it in closer detail, and draining the oil out of it, and then changing it. This car takes 4.25 litres of oil. It's not that much oil, so, and the job's not difficult. It's just take this out, replace the oil filter, drain the bit underneath, top it up all again, and that's it, done. So anyway, this is a wee video. This is the shape of the car, so you know what one it is, the N43 engine. So it shouldn't take me too long. This is just a wee video to show you how I've done it in my car. So the first thing I'm going to do is go underneath and drain the oil. So I'll come back to you when I'm set up under there now. I'm set up underneath the car. If you go forward in here, you'll see this little catch. If you spin it around, it will open up, and there is the drain plug for the oil. I'm not sure what size that is, so I'll go and find out, and then I'll come back to you when I'm doing that. Fairly straightforward so far. Okay folks, so the first thing I've done was I've used this little sort of cheap universal oil filter tool. Just goes around that, you tighten it up. I think it was only about 4 or 5 quid, and crack that loose. I had to put a rubber glove over the top of that to help that grip. I never put this on all that tight the last time, and it was still quite tight to take off, but I'll make sure that I put oil on the wee seal, which I'll show you before I put it back together again. So I know that that's loose. Under here, I've just used, let's get my light. I've just used a 17, on mine it was a 17 mil normal socket, with a little extension to reach up in. I took that flap off. As you can see how it works there, it just lifts up and out, and the whole thing comes away, just to make it a bit easier to see. So all there really is left to do now is loosen this little nut, and then get the bucket underneath. So it's going to be quite difficult to do whilst holding the phone, but I'll try. And basically just crack that loose there. Now all I'm going to do is, there it is. Merrily draining away. I've got the drain plug there with a little washer on it that's going to be replaced. So I'll clean myself up here, and then I'll come back to you in a second. Okay folks, while that is draining away, the next thing I'm going to do, I've unscrewed that. I showed you how I did that at the beginning of the video. So that's the oil filter housing, complete with oil filter and a couple of little, there's no ring, rubber O-ring there. There's a new one that came with a filter. There's a bigger one, there's a smaller one, medium sized one there, and then a smaller one there. Medium sized one and smaller one. This, I can't do it with holding the camera because they both hands. This just pulls upwards, so that case pulls down way and the filter pulls upwards to take that filter off. Then I'll pry off all the wee rubber things that are already on it. There's one there, you can see. There's one just in there, and then there's one at the top in there. Once I get them off, I'll be putting the new filter on, and I will be using the old engine oil that I took out of the car to lather these up in oil, especially that one, so that it's not a nightmare to loosen this next time. So I'll lather these all up with oil and put them all back on, and then put it back in the car. So the car's still draining away, and while it's doing that, I will get to work on this filter here. It'll only take about 2 minutes. Okay folks, so just while I'm at the bench, I've just cleaned this up with a bit of kitchen roll and taken the old crushable copper washer off, and here is the new that came with the oil filter. So I'll just place that on. Yeah, you always must replace this little washer. So that will now be ready to go back into the car. So while I am figuring that out, I'll try and position the camera here so that you can see what I'm doing. So this is the old oil filter, so I'll try just pull that out. Sometimes it can't be tough enough to pull it out. And this one is gonna give me a bit of trouble. There we go. Try not to squirt oil all over the place. There is the old oil filter out. See something went into my tea, so I better not drink that anymore. So the little rubber O-rings I was telling you about, there is the first one there. So that's the big one, lying over there. Here's the medium one. It's fiddly. There's the medium sized one. And here is the small one that goes on the very top. So pretty straightforward. I'll lather those new ones up with some oil before I put them back on the plastic oil filter casing. And that's just them there. I've already put the wee copper washer on, so see, I've actually got fresh oil. I'll use fresh oil. Lather this up and these two up, and just put them on exactly the same place to come off, which is the big one there, the medium one there, and the top one there. Then once you do that, I'll pop the oil filter down into the housing, and then it just needs to be screwed back down in there, and that'll be that done. Okay folks, so I'm fairly happy that has now drained. There's the level there. There's measurements inside that bucket, but I presume it's going to be around 4 litres or so. It's still dripping a tiny bit, so I better get that up on quick before I stain the floor. So I'll just literally screw this up by hand. Okay, that's it, finger tight. so it shouldn't drip anymore. And I'm just going to literally nip that ever so slightly, nip it with the ratchet, and that will do. I'll clean it up first, so we'll go ahead and do that and come back to it. So I've just nipped tight the little drain plug, and now the next thing I'm going to do is put on these little O-rings. So just lathering this one up in oil a bit. First of all, the big one. So I'm trying not to roll it down. I don't like rolling it down because then it's sort of can be a bit twisted. I'll try and keep it straight if I can. Right, there's the first one on. That's the big one. Next is the middle-sized one. Some oil on it. And this one, I'm going to have to roll it on, I think. Not having too much joy any other way. There's that one on. Now lastly, the waste one, the smallest one. That just goes over the end one here at the very top. So that's the big one there, the middle sized one there, and the smallest one there. Next thing I have to do is put the new oil filter on, and be careful that it doesn't pull any of the little rubber O-rings with it when you're pushing it down on. That happened to me once before. So that's it, ready to go back into the car. That's the big O-ring, the new oil filter, the middle-sized O-ring, and the smallest O-ring. Okay folks, so I've got the new oil filter. Just plunk it into its little housing. I'll screw that up. Once it hits the little rubber O-ring, it gets quite tight. Should be able to get it all the way by hand though, until there's no gap anymore there. And that's it. That's it now, tight. So the next thing I'm going to do is just nip that tight. Use a rubber glove on this, just a little nip, and that'll do. And then I'm going to put 4 litres of oil in there. So we'll do that now, and then I'll run the car, heat it up to temperature, and then check to see inside if it needs topped up again. Okay, so I have put 4 litres in of 530 fully synthetic oil. I'll put the cap back on. I'm just showing you how I tighten up this little oil filter here. I just use a glove. and make sure it's nice and tight around this. The glove helps it grip, well, it helps me get it to grip anyway. And then it's probably tight enough already there, I think. Yeah, that's it. Tightened up. That's going nowhere. So I've also just nipped up underneath there as well with that 17mm socket and put the flap back up in. So I didn't mention earlier on, actually I did this with the engine warm just to help the oil drain out a bit better. So there's 4 litres in there now, it holds 4.25. That's tightened up on, there's a new filter and all the O-rings have been replaced. Underneath, the sump plug is nipped up tight and there's a new copper washer there. So that's it, I'm going to start it up, let it run for a while, check the oil and then top up as required. So that is how I changed the oil on my 320i e92 M Sport N43 engine. Hope this helps somebody thinking about doing the same job. Thanks for watching.